Ah, shit. Ah, hell. Now we gotta talk about these films now. Hey guys, it's the Black Critic Guy here. You know, I'm not even excited to talk about this. This is just a list that I just had a problem writing because I didn't want to think about these films anymore. This is the top 10 worst films that I saw in 2013. This year, 2013, has been a really good year. I mean, there have been some great films, as I mentioned in my top 10 best films of the year, which I'll probably put a link here so you guys can go check out. But it's also been a very terrible year, especially for one genre in particular, the action genre. There have been more action flops and fails this year than I've ever seen in any other year. Leading the trail of piece of shits is my number 10 choice, World War Z, aka copy-paste zombie movie. There is nothing thrilling about this movie, there's nothing really exciting about this movie. Hell, you can't even really call it a zombie movie because where is the blood? There is no blood in this film. The characters are hollow as shit. You care about none of them besides Brad Pitt, who's the only likable character in the entire film, and the film is just so damn repetitive. Brad Pitt goes to this one place, zombies attack, he leaves this place. Brad Pitt goes to another place, zombies attack, he leaves that place. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Overall, World War Z is a very forgettable zombie movie. If you really want your zombie fix, Walking Dead is still on TV for free. For free. Just watch that. Number 9 is G.I. Joe Retaliation. Now I was very lucky to do this review with my good friend TN Showbiz, and we both shared the same sentiment for this film. It was a piece of shit. Although The Rock was very likable and some action scenes were thrilling, the overall cheese fest of this movie was just damn near irritating to the point where I couldn't even take the movie seriously anymore. Not only that, but just like in World War Z, besides The Rock as the main character, all your other characters are very hollow and forgettable, minus one Channing Tatum, who honestly should have been the main character of the film because his character all of a sudden became likable. I like this character, then they killed him off. What the hell? G.I. Joe Retaliation was just another unnecessary sequel that did not need to be made. And while on the subject of The Rock, number 8 is Pain and Gain. Again, another film starring The Rock, which was really bad. What made this film really bad is just how disrespectful it is to the real events that happened to these real people. Michael Bay just took a really terrible situation in Miami and turned it into an action comedy. It doesn't get more disrespectful than that. The acting in the movie was pretty okay. Nobody really gave a bad performance per se, but just the things that they had to say and the things that they had to do just came off as silly. And again, it's all traits of Michael Bay. Did it have hot girls all over the movie? Yup. Slow motion? You bet. Terrible jokes? Oh yeah. It's just another terrible Michael Bay film that, you know what? That's really all I need to say. It's another terrible Michael Bay film. Moving on. Number 7 is Movie 43. Now, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm going to apologize right now. I was way too lenient on this movie when I first saw it. I mean, the reason I was very lenient is because I saw it really early in the morning and the ticket was really cheap and nobody was really in there. But that does not excuse the fact that this is one of the worst comedies, worst ensemble comedies I've ever seen. All the little skits in this movie all felt like compilations of like YouTube parody videos. That's how cheap this movie felt. These shorts you can easily find on YouTube and can be way funnier. It felt like they put no effort in the comedy in this movie. I felt bad for every actor in this film. Granted, I did like 3 skits in this entire movie. The one with Emma Stone and that one kid from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I did find that kind of quirky. I did like the skit with Batman and Robin on the speed dating thing, although it felt like that easily could have been like a YouTube parody video and probably would be executed better by someone who knew how to make you laugh. And the Terrence Howard skit was the funniest skit in the entire movie, although they showed it way too much in the trailers, honestly because it is the funniest skit in the entire movie. But even though those 3 skits were funny, that doesn't excuse the other 15 skits that were just torturous to sit through. The worst one being the one about the parents homeschooling this kid is the most awkwardest thing I have ever seen. I don't know how I let that one get away. That was terrible. Terrible. Movie 43 movie 43. Lone Ranger. Yep, that's right. Number 6 is The Lone Ranger. You all saw this coming. I mean, the movie in its entirety is just dull, boring, forgettable, way too long. The acting was pretty okay, but I'm really sick of Johnny Depp doing the same old shtick. It's not funny anymore. It's not entertaining anymore. It's just forced and kind of annoying. But the biggest mistake that this movie made was wasting and squandering the talent of Ruth Wilson, the girl from Luther. She is a fantastic actress. A fantastic actress. She should have not been in this movie. She deserves better. Better. Why did this have to be her first Hollywood movie? It just breaks my heart to see a waste of talent. A waste of talent put on screen. I cannot believe this. Lone Ranger is every bit as bad as everybody says it is, and it definitely deserves this spot on my top 10 worst films of 2013. Number 5 is The Family. I actually don't really remember that much from this movie, and it goes to show you why it is on this list. The movie is really forgettable. It really felt like Robert De Niro and Tommy Lee Jones were just phoning it in to get a paycheck, so they did this offbeat comedy, or at least it felt like a comedy, about this one mob family that gets relocated to France and their daily lives, I guess. I did like their 2 children, but they kind of got wasted, especially the girl who was like this badass. Then all of a sudden she just falls in love, and then she's like, oh. Throughout the entire movie, we took this badass character and made her into a damsel. Like, I don't know what even to call it. They made her into a Susie Q. That's what I'm gonna call her. They made her into a Susie Q, and she did not need to be that because she was better than that. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. There's nothing good about it. Nothing. Not even the action scenes were entertaining. We're moving on. Now the next 3 choices on this list are all movies that star actors that have made a living off of the action movie genre, and all of which are Expendable members. Starting off at number 4, we got The Last Stand. My God, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Really? I don't really remember Arnold Schwarzenegger movies being this bad. I mean, to the point where I was just bored out of my mind. The dialogue is just stupid and cringe-worthy. Now, I do remember that in some Arnold Schwarzenegger films, but I don't remember them being this bad. I mean, they are bad. Like, really bad. Not even halfway through this movie, I actually thought about leaving. I actually thought about getting up and leaving. But because I really love Arnold Schwarzenegger and I wanted him to succeed, I sat down and put up with almost an hour and 40 minutes of bullshit. Granted, there were 2 moments in this film that I thoroughly enjoyed, like the race in the crop fields. That was entertaining, and the throwdown on the bridge was also pretty entertaining, although I don't remember Arnold really fighting that slow. I mean, yeah, he's getting old. I guess he can't move as fast as a younger guy, but that younger guy should have wiped the floor with him. The fact that he even won was kind of amazing to me. Overall, The Last Stand was not the return to form that I wanted to see from Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know he's getting old, I know he can't move as fast as he used to, but he could still make a badass action movie. This just wasn't it. Number 3 is generic Jason Statham action movie number 15. Parker. That first line that I just said sums up this entire movie. It's your standard, cliche, generic Jason Statham action movie. He gets betrayed, he goes and kills a bunch of people. That's it. Jennifer Lopez was so goddamn annoying in this film. I just wanted to like choke her until she stopped breathing and dropped. That's how annoying she was. Her character served no point at all in this entire film. You take her out of this film, would have made the film a ton better, though not by much. Because as much as taking her out of the film would make the film less annoying, it doesn't change the fact that the action scenes are kind of boring, the characters are not likable at all, and you really know nothing about them. It's just overall a forgettable movie. Number 2 is Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. A Good Day to Die Hard. My God! What have you done to the Die Hard franchise? Granted, I'm not the biggest Die Hard fan, but even a kid that isn't a big fan knew you messed up the Die Hard franchise. Everything about this movie does not fit in the canon of Die Hard. John McClane, for the first time ever, felt more like a liability than an asset, and honestly, he came off as unlikable in some scenes. I mean, John McClane is one of the most relatable action heroes that has ever existed, and in this movie, all that likability, all that relatability, out the window. All the action scenes were all dull and lame. It felt like they put no effort into any of the action scenes because all the action scenes are the same. Bruce Willis shoots up the place, jumps out of the window, lands conveniently in something that saves his life. Rinse and repeat. And the villains in this movie, they weren't memorable at all, nor were they even threatening. And the twist as to who the real villain is, being the guy that was always with them, was not a good twist at all. This might have killed the Die Hard franchise, and it breaks my heart that it had to end here. It had to end here. It couldn't have ended on a much higher note. Breaks my heart. Rest in peace, Die Hard. You were a great franchise until John Moore ruined you. I'm sorry. But you're probably wondering, man, you've been getting so angry at all these films. What is the worst film that you saw this year? It was tough to put this film above Die Hard, because as much as I did enjoy some scenes in this movie, it doesn't change the fact that it's the most goddamn repetitive piece of shit action with no tension whatsoever, with characters that are hollow as shit, and some of the most ridiculous scenes I've ever seen since Taken 2. That credit belongs to Getaway. My God, there is nothing about this movie that had any sort of substance. It was just mindless action put on the screen. There are more car flips in this entire movie than the entire series of the Fast and Furious franchise. A movie that, or a series of movies that are all about racing and cars flipping over. And at first, you know, I really did like the action. It was like, oh my God, look at that. The cars are flipping all over the place. Oh my God, so cool. But when that is the only action that's in this entire movie over and over and over again, it loses its luster. It's like seeing a firework go off one time. You're like, oh my God, pretty fireworks. But after 15 minutes of watching fireworks go off, you kind of go, oh, well, it wasn't as good as the first one. It's kind of repetitive and boring now. That's the whole movie right there. That's all of Getaway. The acting, I can't even talk about the acting because although it's okay, that doesn't make it anything spectacular, nor does it save this movie from being terrible. And this one scene where they are surrounded by cops and they get away by him just pulling out a gun and saying, I'll shoot this girl, you better back up, and they let him go and don't even follow him? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There were so many ways that they could have ended that situation. Like if he pulled out that gun outside the window, shoot his hand, he'll drop the gun, or flatten his tires, or at least follow him so that he doesn't commit more heinous crimes. It just felt like they disrespected the cops in this movie. I mean, I swear, they're not that incompetent. They can't be that incompetent. I honestly wish I could have redid my review for Getaway so I could have gave it a 0 out of 5 stars. I was way too lenient by giving it a 1 out of 5 just because I really respected Ethan Hawke and some of the action scenes in the beginning were entertaining. This movie really has no other redeeming qualities, and even the redeeming qualities that I mentioned weren't enough to carry this film. It definitely should have been a 0 out of 5 stars, and it is definitely the worst film that I saw in 2013. Oh man, I need to calm down. I've been yelling too much. Okay, that was my list of the worst films that I saw in 2013, and I would like to know, what was the worst films you guys saw in 2013? Were they on this list? Did you agree with my list, or do you think I was too harsh on any of these movies? Be sure to comment below and let me know. Oh man, I gotta end this video because I'm still thinking about these terrible movies and it's making me angry. Stay tuned for my top 10 best animes that I saw this year coming out tomorrow. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Wilder II from the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube. Fuck these movies.